name's Rob Howden, folks. Great to be here with you. The voice of the road to Indy, presented by Cooper Tires. And as we get set to go racing with the drivers here in Indy Pro 2000, let's have a quick look at the grid for the Andersen Interior Contracting Grand Prix. 15 drivers set to go. Tail of the field will be Charles Finelli, the number 83, 58 years of age. The Fat Boy Racing driver starting in 15th. Row number 7 will see the Mexican driver Salvador de Alba for J. Howard Driver Development, starting on the outside in the number 6. On the inside, Wyatt Prokachik, second-year driver for J. Howard Driver Development, starting in 13th. Moving now up to row number 6 on the outside from Ireland for Turn 3 Motorsports. It's Jonathan Browne in the number 2. And on the inside, a winner last year here at Barber. Keep an eye on the Black Pabst Racing number 18 of SUNBARAMOORTHY from Delafield, Wisconsin, starting in the 11th position. Moving now up into the top 10 on the outside of row number 5 from Illinois. It is Jordan Missig in the number 19, rookie here this year in Indy Pro 2000, racing with Pabst Racing. And on the inside, for Miller Vinatieri Motorsports out of Indianapolis, Indiana, it is Jack William Miller in the number 40. Up now to row number 4 on the outside from Mount Kisco, New York, a winner of the opening round of the series here this year at the Grand Prix of St. Petersburg. Josh Green in the number 3. Going to start on the outside of row number 4 in the 8th position for Turn 3 Motorsports. On the inside, Colin Kaminsky, podium finisher yesterday for Pabst Racing in the number 27 at Homer Glen, Illinois. He'll start 7th today. Colin has the speed to move forward, so you may want to watch the number 27. Into row number 3, another driver to watch for sure, your current point leader for Exclusive Autosport out of England. It's Louis Foster in the number 90. He'll start 6th alongside last year's USF 2000 champion from Brazil, running for D-Force Racing. It's Kiko Porto. Row number 2 on the outside, this guy already has a win, scored a victory yesterday out of Miami, Florida. Reese Gold and the Juncos Hollinger Racing, number 55, starting in the 4th position. And alongside him, his teammate, Anam Ahmed in the number 47. Anam now living in Indianapolis from England, but carries the flag of Pakistan on the side of that number 47 machine. Good to have both those teammates alongside each other, maybe a little more level of trust before we get set to go racing here and go green flag. On the front row, though, the drivers who got the job done in qualifying. Here he is here outside of the front row, the former USF 2000 champion Braden Eves out of New Albany, Ohio, getting set to go for J. Howard Driver Development. Eves a 117.852 in qualifying, the number 4 starting on the outside of the front row. But the driver they'll chase down into turn number 1 here from Palo Alto, California, already a winner this year in Indy Pro 2000 competition for D-Force Racing, Nolan Siegel, the rookie driver on the pole position. Siegel and Eves on row number 1. Ahmed and Gold on row 2, Porto and Foster on row 3, Kaminsky and Green on row 4, Miller and Missig on row number 5, SUNBARAMOORTHY and Browne on row 6, Wyatt Prokachik and Salvador de Alba on row 7, and Charles Finelli on row number 8. Again, drivers, we kind of expected we were going to come in midway through the race here, but the AMR safety team having to do some updates to the racetrack, some cleanup areas. There was a couple of cars still out on the racetrack, so they've been working hard over the last half an hour. As we see the field here, there's the 55 of Reese Gold. We'll give you a rundown through. There's the Road to Indy Scholarship colors of Kiko Porto, last year's USF 2000 champion. The Copart Exclusive Autosport machine, the traditional white and red of Exclusive Autosport for Louis Foster. There's the Slick Locks number 27 for Colin Kaminsky. Session Guardian number 3. Starting a little further in the field, as we said, Josh Green in the 8th position. There's the red Patterson Dental number 40 of Jack William Miller. Working our way back now to the number 19 of SUNBARAMOORTHY. Rather, that's the 19 of Jordan Missig. Then the 18 of SUNBARAMOORTHY. Then we have Jonathan Browne, the Irishman, in the number 2 for Turn 3 Motorsports. Further back, Wyatt Prokachik at the number 5. The number 6 is Salvador de Alba, and of course the bright colored machine of Charles Finelli in the number 83, 58 years young. Loving being part of the program. Fat Boy Sugier sponsorship. And the field is pulled away, and as we get to warm up some laps, I'm joined in the booth today by one of our racers in the USF Juniors program, the development series for the USF 2000 program. I've had a number of people throughout the weekend drivers with me. Joining me right now is Bianca Bustamante from the Philippines. Bianca, thank you so much for joining me and spending the afternoon up in the booth with me.
Thank you for having me here. It's an honor. It's my very first Indy weekend, and I'm having lots of fun.
It's exciting. Obviously, Bianca from the Philippines, as we said, a lot of karting success, wanting to make the moves up into cars, electing to go USF Juniors racing. You're also going to be in the exciting W Series this year as well. You'll be in Miami next week. But it's interesting. You know, we kind of look, at least I look at what you've done in karting, and I'm used to what you've done before, but it's amazing to think that just last weekend in Ozarks, those were your first ever car races. How has the last 10 days been? It's not even 2 weeks.
Ooh, it's been crazy, you know, like 6 months ago, I had no career, you know, I was just in karting and trying to make attention to Formula cars. And now I just race in the Ozarks, and I race here in Barber, and I'll be racing in Miami, you know. It's been a crazy 10 days. A lot has happened recently, and, you know, I just got to watch the IndyCar drive for the first time in front of my eyes. So I'm having lots of fun, and now we're ahead of us the Indy Pro race, which is really fun. You know, they did a lot of race yesterday. They did qualifying, so I'm really excited to watch them.
Lots going on, right? This could be in your future for sure. And Bianca, as she said, really packing so much in to really these first 3 weeks here in the United States. The race at Ozarks, a couple of races there. She raced, of course, here on Thursday and Friday, as you said, getting quicker and quicker throughout the weekend. Then next weekend with the W Series as well, you go right out of IndyCar right into the Formula One circus as well. This is just going to be a whirlwind for you.
It is, you know. It's very exciting because you see people you idolize, and you see them in front of your eyes, and to be racing alongside them is even crazier. That, you know, I got to drive the Barber track. Actually, you know, I got to do what they did. You know, I've made a few passes, raced myself. So
that's it.
It's really amazing.
We'll come back to Bianca throughout the race for some driver analysis. We'll talk about her because what she's done before as our analyst here today. She had some time on this racetrack. I have not, obviously, so we'll lean to her in terms of some of the corners and talk about how it all shakes out. Drivers lining up to get things underway. Again, Nolan Siegel and Braden Eves on the front row, Anam Ahmed and Reese Gold on row number 2. We're about set to go racing. The final event of the weekend here, this year's event at Barber Motorsports Park. Hope you're in the grandstands or on the fence, on the hills, not worried about traffic right now because we got the future stars of the NTT IndyCar Series for you. Indy Pro 2000 is green, green, green. Rocketing down into turn number 1. The fall down through 1. Good start there for Nolan Siegel. How are they coming through the rest of this corner? Drivers give themselves enough room. 2 by 2, 3, 4, 5 back. Good start for Siegel to get some room. There is Eves holding back Ahmed and Gold. Those two teammates giving each other room. I believe Gold on the inside may be able to hold that spot. Big run around the outside for Louis Foster. Look at that car on the outside. He's trying to get a run. See if he can't get by Anam Ahmed. That's a good run for Louis Foster. He's going to go to P4. Foster fighting up there right now with Reese Gold. Louis Foster shot out of a cannon coming down through turn number 5. He'll tuck to the bottom of turn number 7 and 8 as well. Opening lap excitement. Siegel going to grab the spot. And it is up into 3rd spot for Louis Foster. Great start for Foster from 6th up to 3rd position in the exclusive auto sport machine. The point leader attacking early here in almost perfect conditions. That said, very different conditions. All the rubber they had was washed off earlier today. We had USF 2000 on track, a full race for IndyCar. It's going to change the way the characteristics are of this racetrack here on what is a warm, beautiful, and sunny Sunday afternoon in Leeds, Alabama. The drivers coming around to complete lap number 1 of what will be a scheduled 30-lapper, a longer race here, and you have to have the physical abilities that I want to say the endurance. You know, you got to be strong, but you got to be flexible. You have to be able to handle it through 30 laps of competition. This is a very tough car to drive. A lot of downforce, a lot of everything. One driver off the racetrack went deep to the inside. It might have been Kaminsky. One of the drivers went off the track, had to come back on into the middle of the racetrack, and one of the drivers further back was able to take evasive maneuvers. So I believe it is Siegel, Eves, and Foster, the top 3 right now. Everybody else kind of getting through the chaos that we saw there in turn number 1 and 2. Tough corner 1, 2, and 3. We talked about down the hill, back up. You know, Bianca, let's bring you in here. You were able to do a test here back in March to get a feel for the racetrack, but really your first time in the USF Juniors car. Turn 1, downhill braking, back up the hill a couple of stories, the Alabama roller coaster back down to 3. What kind of a corner is that for you? That's pretty wild stuff.
Ooh, it is. You know, it's very technical because you need to carry a lot of speed, especially in this car. There's so much downforce in the car, so you need to maximize the grip and everything. And I think this track is really physical. You know, it's very straining on the neck. Like for me, the juniors, I had a hard time just, you know, completing all the 20 laps I did. just so many right turns and, you know, long corners, a lot of elevations, and you really need to hold the car tight, carry a lot of minimum speed. And the Indy Pro it's a fast car, and it's crazy how fast they can go through the corners.
Watching right now the battle up to second place is Louis Foster trying to put a lot of pressure on Braden Eves, and Bianca bang hit on the head. This track is a very physical racetrack. The long duration really puts a lot of pressure, a lot of G's on the drivers. We see a lot of them, Bianca, on social media at Pit Fit in Indianapolis, working with Jim Leo. I've seen you've been there before. Jim and his team know how to beat the drivers up, but they beat you up for a reason. It's all about endurance. It's all about strength. It's all about you know, building the muscles that you need to use in a race car as opposed to those maybe you use throughout the world.
Oh yeah, I mean, I've made a huge progress, you know, physical aspect. You know, I started working out with Jim a few months back, and now he's beat me up to shape to be able to race in a USF Junior. So I've made lots of progress. They really need to know which parts, you know, to work on, especially the neck, the grip. Like, it's not very common to be working out those types of muscles that normal people do. So it's a whole new level.
Yeah, it's motorsports focus, folks. It's not the muscles you would use really in everyday life, right? There's just different muscles you use when you're strapped into a race car, bolted down, all those G's. And again, the good folks at Pit Fit do a tremendous job with their outposts in both Indianapolis and down in Charlotte, North Carolina as well. Siegel leading the way right now, coming across start-finish line. A little bit of advantage over Braden Eves, but Eves as a driver knows how to win as well. A number of victories when he won the USF 2000 championship a number of years ago, back in 2019, a winner in Indy Pro 2000 competition too. Eves actually won here last year for Exclusive Autosport to start off the season. And he knows what it takes to get those victories. A couple of wins in the road to Indy for Siegel, winning in both USF 2000 and now Indy Pro, but not the multiple wins you've seen out of course, the championship as well for Braden Eves. Louis Foster, a driver who's had significant success overseas, making his debut here in North America in 2022, and we hope to see Louis with us in the road to Indy for a number of years, of course, moving up into Indy Lights when he's prepared, and then being another one of our graduates who we're proud of in the NTT IndyCar Series. And every year we talk about the fact how many drivers are in the Indianapolis 500. Normally 25, 26, 27 drivers that are in the 500 that have spent time in this road to Indy. And again, you're just at the very start of your journey, Bianca. That's the beauty of this thing, I think, right? It's you see what these drivers have done. When you spend time in the paddock, you get a chance to meet some of the drivers. They'll help you go over data, whatever it may be. They'll work with you, but you can see the progress, right? You can see what your road will be.
Yes, you see, like I said, seeing the Indy cars and the Indy pros, like people you look up to, you know, like for me, I'm still very young. I'm only like at the beginning. It's like the very first stage, and I get to see them how hard they work, and they always tell me that it doesn't get easier from here. It only gets harder.
That is so true. They're obviously not mincing words. I like that. They're giving you the straight truth. It does get harder. The cars get harder to drive. They're faster.
More laps.
Yeah, and that's a big one. More laps. We had 20 lappers for USF 2000. This is a 30-lap race for Indy Pro 2000. 50% more laps. Even longer when you go Indy Lights racing, and of course, then the full distance runs when you run IndyCar. You talk to the young drivers that come out of Indy Lights and go to IndyCar. The first time they actually have to do pit stops and a full hour-and-a-half race, whatever it may be, it is definitely a physical undertaking for sure.
It is.
Siegel still leading, but you can see things are kind of stacking up a little bit as well. And a number of parts of this track. There's your top three drivers stacking up. 1, 2, 3. A little bit further back to Anam Ahmed, who does have a bit of breathing room to re-scold his teammate, and Josh Green running in 6th position. 7th, Jordan Miss. A good run here for Jordan. Best we've seen him run so far this season, up into the 7th spot for the driver to Illinois. Kiko Porto in 8th. Salvador de Alba, who started back in 14th. A strong start up into the 9th position, so a good attack on the opening couple laps for Salvador de Alba. Just getting rolling here, though. 4 laps into a 30-lap contest. And the one thing that all the drivers will teach you, what we'll talk about, is as they learn this race car, and even back when they're running USF 2000, of course, even with Bianca and USF Juniors right now, there is a certain focus on tire management. This racetrack is tough on tires. Bianca talked about all the right-hand corners that we have here, really beating up that left front tire, especially in USF Juniors, where you only get 2 sets of fresh tires. Drivers in Indy Pro with 3 sets of fresh tires for this double header. They put fresh tires on for qualifying to try to get the best position on the grid possible. But man, throughout a 30-lap race, tires are going to start to go off a little bit. I'm sure you dealt with that a bit with the USF Juniors car.
Yes, we actually, we had 2 races on Thursday and Friday, so we had a chance to put on 4 new tires, and we opted of just putting 2 on one side.
Yeah, I heard a
so
couple
that we-
teams did that.
So
yeah.
we can work, focus on strategies, just because this track is like more of a right-hand corner, right-hand track, so that we can conserve those tires and basically have fresh tires for the 2 races. And I guess it's kind of, it's not just, physical, it's not just that, it's also a mind game, all these strategies that put up into a win, it's crazy.
It's true. The equation for victory at this level of competition is insane, because you think about what happens here in these races, whether it's USF 2000, let's go back to USF Juniors, USF 2000, Indy Pro and Indy Lights. The margin between first and 10th or whatever it may be, even further back when it comes to qualifying, are a few tenths of a second. Normally we'll see the top 4 anywhere within, a couple hundredths of a second in terms of fast laps. So to be able to win, it is so much of everything. It's not just about the driver or the car, it's putting it all together. The strategy, as Bianca had talked about, tire strategy. Do you set the tire pressures to come in early because you want to advance quick? Or do you want it to come in late and give your driver a car that may not be perfect from the start, but once the tire pressures come up, the tire temperatures come up, that car will start hitting as the fuel load gets lighter. We'll see a lot of fast times come in late in the race, because even though this track is significantly tough on tires, these Coopers are just such a fantastic compound. They do hold their consistency from race start to race finish. The biggest battle we're watching here right now is his fight for second spot. Louis Foster looks to me like he's starting to put some pressure here now on Braden Eves, and that's one of the things you have to watch for. Of course, here, once you get close to a driver, we've talked about this all day, the aero wash. The minute you don't get that air coming over the front wing because you're tucked up and behind in the draft, your car's going to kind of wash for you. You're going to get that understeer mid-corner or even on corner entry, and you're going to start punishing the tires a little bit. But you want to get close enough to see if you can't force the driver in front of you to make the mistake. That's the easiest way to make a pass. Yeah, you can hound him. You can absolutely make a perfect corner and get that run out of the Alabama roller coaster so you can place yourself to the inside of turn 5 hairpin. But if you can force them into a mistake, Bianca, you know this. If you can force them to drop a wheel somewhere, you got them. The minute they drop a wheel, you've got that exit speed. You've done your job, right?
Yep. You just pressure them into making a mistake, and I think that's one of the best parts about racing. It's such a mind game.
It
is. If you push like a driver, just watch, like when he's watching by his side mirrors, you already make a mistake, and it's crazy.
Well, and this is the thing too. When you're in the gym at Pit Fit, and I tell every young driver this, they sometimes don't make that connection, you need to be fit. You need to have the endurance, because you talk about it being a mind game, right? A mental game. If you're unbelievably tired over the last, let's say, third or quarter of the race, and you're struggling to keep going, you lose the mind, right?
Yes, you lose the focus. And
yeah.
when you lose focus, you're off to a wall, unfortunately.
Yeah,
or
that's
you do
it.
a spin, or you make a mistake.
And then you make the mistake and somebody capitalizes on it. So fitness being key to be able to hold that 100% mental focus throughout the entire race, 30 laps in this case for the drivers at Indy Pro 2000, the second run of this road to Indy. A lot of people around the grounds. I can see up underneath the shade in the trees on the back straightaway. Hope you guys are enjoying the day. I appreciate you staying here to watch Indy Pro 2000. No need to get in the traffic right now. You can let those guys take their time and get out of here. You got one more race to watch. So these are the drivers that are going to be in IndyCar in the next 2 or 3 years. I mentioned Pato Award spending time in this program, Rinus VK, Oliver Askew, Kyle Kirkwood, of course, Dalton Kellett. So many drivers who have worked their way up into the NTT IndyCar Series have come through Indy Pro 2000, and this is a tremendous race car. Tatis chassis, we have the Halo with the new update kit for 2022, 250 horsepower, much more downforce than the USF 2000 car as well. So this thing's a handful to drive, but it's a ton of fun to drive. Every driver will tell you when they come out of USF 2000, there's more of everything, right? You always want more. I'm sure, Bianca, you've been in the car, probably 7, 8, 9 times now, maybe over the weekends and the test we had. I'm sure you want more already. You see that USF 2000 car?
Yeah.
I'd like
I
to
want that.
I want that now, right?
I want that, yeah.
That's exactly
and
it.
it's funny because recently this weekend I drove the USF Juniors car, and next weekend I'll be hopping into the W Series car, and that's a Formula 3 car.
Yeah.
So it's a big jump, and I know that I'll need to trust the car more, especially this car has a lot of downforce, a lot faster, a lot lighter as well. And And yeah, I definitely want to pursue Indy Pro and hopefully, yeah.
That's what we like. And so, folks, again, Bianca Bustamante here with me for USF Juniors. She races with IGY6 Motorsports in the USF Juniors program. Next weekend, we'll be running in the W Series. So when you're watching the W Series, if you're watching that next weekend, as they're a support series for Formula One in Miami, you know who to cheer for. Bianca Bustamante, right? So they're able to follow you on social media, too. We're in the middle of the race right now, kind of a lull. Give us all your social media channels so they can follow you.
All right. If you guys do want to follow me on social media, you can search my IG handle at RacerBia and Twitter RacerBia and my official fan page at Bianca Bustamante.
So RacerBia, RacerBia. Is that the? Are we going by? You want me to go by Bia? Is that the nickname, or are we sticking with Bianca this year?
It's the new nickname. Everyone's like calling me now Bia. Oh, Bia. Yeah,
all right. Yeah. Okay. Well, Bianca's the professional name on the timing sheets, but we can go by Bia as well. So follow RacerBia. So that's on Instagram. Are you on Twitter?
Yes, I'm on Twitter.
There you go. And Facebook.
There
you go. So Bianca Bustamante, folks, follow her. A tremendous young driver coming out of the Philippines. I had a chance to watch her race in karts here in the U.S. A couple of years ago, and it's fantastic to have her as part of our Road to Indy family here. And joining me in the booth, obviously, for the final race of this weekend's events at Barber Motorsports Park, Nolan Siegel out to a 0.6 of a second lead. It's not a massive advantage right now, as we're only, as I said, at the 1/3 mark. Braden Eves right there, about a 10th quicker last time by. Now this time, first time into the 119s for Nolan Siegel. How about a 119.6 though for Louis Foster? Fast lap of the race. Foster cutting things down a bit. 1.3 seconds back of the leader, just 0.6 of a second behind Braden Eves. Another 1.7 back to Anam Hamed, who runs in 4th. I don't think we're done yet in terms of a battle for the positions on the podium. Medbo runs in 4th, Reese Gold in 5th, 6th is Josh Green, 7th Kiko Porto, 8th Salvador de Alba, who started back in 14th up into 8th. Great run for Salvador de Alba from the J. Howard Driver Development Camp. Jonathan Brown running in 9th, Jack William Miller in 10th, Yuvan Sundaramurthy 11th, Wyatt Prokachik in 12th, Colin Kaminsky 13th, 14th Jordan Missing, and 15th Charles Finelli. We talked about Kaminsky having a strong run yesterday, started on the outside of the front row after a tremendous qualifying effort, able to bring it home P2. He's the driver who had that a little bit of an off at the start of the race and fell all the way back into 13th. He's just 0.6 behind Prokachik now. We'll see if he can find some speed. He's back at about a 120.8, so almost a second off of Siegel. I'm wondering whether or not that off-track adventure potentially might have bent something on the Pabst Racing machine of Kaminsky. We'll keep following his lap times here to see if he can't dial things back in, because we know that Kaminsky has the speed to run up front. Now, Bianca, this is one of those racetracks, because it's so technical, because it's so physically demanding, it doesn't take much to make a little mistake. We've seen guys go off here. Did you have any offs on the weekend?
I'm not gonna lie.
You're not going to lie? Okay.
I'm not gonna lie.
What happened?
It's just because, you know, you really want to push the car.
That's it,
You want, especially on quali. I think it's funny, like most people go off on quali just because they push so much. They push every inch they can on the corners. They brake late as possible. And I think one of the most technical corners for me was going up into 12 and 13.
Yeah.
That's that fast corner uphill, then it goes down, it dips down. It's so easy to make a mistake.
It is.
And the minute you go faster and faster, the more you are to, you know, you can lead to a mistake.
And you arrive on the scene of the next corner much faster, right?
Yeah, and you arrive much faster, and then you just realize, oh shoot, I just overshot a corner, you lose it. And I did a little spin there on quali.
Okay, all right. Well, listen, you know what the line I like is you don't know where the edge is until you go over it.
Oh yeah.
Right, and you can do that here, because one of the things we talked about this, especially for drivers in the USF 2000, when we debut the season, the very first race of the year is at the Grand Prix of St. Petersburg. That's where you don't want to go over the line, because the line is a concrete wall. At a track like Barber Motorsports Park, when you have more runoff area, hey, a spin's a spin. It just means you're pushing hard, which is good, right?
Yeah, it's very more forgiving.
Yeah, indeed. Siegel's lead now over a second, and the battle for second coming up. Checking this run down into turn number 5. The white and red exclusive Autosport machine of Louis Foster on the gearbox of Braden Eves. Foster coming in as your point leader. This is going to be fun to watch here right now. Again, Foster the leader in points, as I had said coming in here. About 4 markers over Nolan Siegel. So these guys are going to be in the middle of a fight back and forth. In fact, first, second, and third right now came in sitting second, third, and first in the points. So not surprising, Cream has kind of rise to the top here, as we've seen over the first 3 races. Foster leading with 68 points, Siegel with 64 points, Braden Eves only 10 points behind Foster in third. Josh Green and Reese Gold just a point behind Green, and then Anam Ahmed just 2 points behind them. That's how tight it is on top right now. 13 points between first and sixth as we came into round number 4 here at Barber Motorsports Park, the second end of the doubleheader. Final race of the weekend, too. We hope you guys all enjoyed yourself. It is a gorgeous day here right now. Those of you tuning in here on the Road to Indy TV app, not so much this morning. 81 degrees and sunny right now. I believe they call that Chamber of Commerce weather. Absolutely perfect and not surprising. Sold out on Saturday and Sunday. We hope everybody enjoyed the battle. And we're watching right now. There's the fight again. Louis Foster thinking about the outside of turn 5. He's making it exciting here. Does he get a run down to turn number 7 and 8? They'll work their way out of that short shoot here. Right on the gearbox again. Give it to Braden Eves, not blocking right now, Bianca. He could easily have gone down to the bottom of the racetrack, but he's still running the racing line, because the minute they go to the bottom, the minute they start to fight, you and I both know this from karting, from here, the minute they do that, Siegel's gone.
Yeah, he's gone.
Yeah.
And you can see right now, the minute that they started sort of defending and passing each other, Siegels has given a gap ahead of them, a bigger gap now.
1.3 seconds indeed, Bianca. Good call. Coming to the halfway point right now. And again, Foster putting that pressure on Eves, and even though Eves still running the racing line, maybe being a little more defensive, trying to hold him back. This has given Siegel exactly what he wants. And hey, listen, if you're the leader and you're out there with open racetrack, all you're wishing is battle for second, right? Battle
That's
for
all
second.
You wish for,
yeah.
So you can just fly away and
That's it.
lead your own race.
You guys fight back there for second. I'm out of here. I'm gone. And that's what Siegel's trying to do here now. This would be his 3rd career Road to Indy victory, but still a long way away. We're only to the halfway point. Siegel having a really consistent run here. It's been in the low, mid to high 19s. 119.6 his best lap, a 119.8 last time by. Fight continuing there for second. There's 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th is a pretty good little battle here as well. Salvador de Alba, who started back in, I think, 14th position? Yeah, 14th. Now starting to put some pressure on Kiko Porto. Salvador de Alba, another driver with a lot of interesting experience. We talked about Jagger Jones scoring the race win in USF 2000, how he started in karting, was a champion karter in the SuperKarts USA program, but instead of coming into the Road to Indy, instead of going to open wheel cars, actually electing to jump into full-size super late model stock cars on the West Coast. Did a lot of stock car racing, so learned a ton there for sure. A guy like Salvador de Alba was a top karter out of Mexico. Had a chance to see him run in a number of races back when he was young in the 80cc junior category. But he has become a superstar in Mexico in their essentially NASCAR program. Their NASCAR road racing series, the Mexican NASCAR program. He is a race winner on a regular basis running for Jourdain Motorsports. Those of you who have loved open wheel Formula car racing, Champ Car, whatever it may be, for a number of years. Michel Jourdain's the name you know. He owns a team down there, actually teamed up now with Andretti. It's now Jourdain Andretti Autosport down in Mexico for the Mexican NASCAR program. And that's the series that Salvador's been running. So he's been running big 3,500-pound stock cars, hustling them around the road circuits of Mexico. So a bit of a transition for him. Tested the Indy Lights car with Andretti Autosport last year at Mid-Ohio, and was planning on trying to get into Indy Lights, but elected to come here into Indy Pro, get a good feel for the car and maybe the tracks before jumping up to Indy Lights. So this is a fact-finding mission for Salvador de Alba, and I like what he's doing right now, having a good run here at Barber Motorsports Park. Every track brand new for Salvador, not like Kiko has a full year, of course, in USF 2000, a couple years actually, but a championship year last year in the series with T-Force Racing. So we'll see if that fight turns into anything before it's all said and done. That would be for 7th on the grid. Leaders coming back down through turn 17. You can see that a little bit more of a gap there for Braden Eves. But yeah, they're not letting Siegel pull away at all. 1.3 seconds was the gap last time by. Eves was quicker by 0.2 of a second. Foster quicker still. It's back down to a second. Again, 0.3 of a second. Eves faster than Siegel. So let's accordion back that up again. Foster not putting so much pressure on Eves. He's allowed to close back up. So into the second half of this one now. Bia, what do you see?
Yeah,
you're watching this,
it's
but yeah, you're
crazy.
watching Foster.
Oh, yeah.
Side by side. They tucked underneath us there. Foster got side by side. Now here's the big thing. To the inside of turn 5, it's hard. If you can get in there, but if the guy can hold the outside line, he's able to do it, right? And that's what Eves was able to do. Foster goes down the inside.
Just let him by.
Yeah.
Try to get a good exit. You know, it's a long straight ahead, so a better exit means that you're more confident up to turn 6.
The sooner you're on the throttle coming out of that corner, the quicker you're going to get down to turn number 7. And Foster almost made the move to the inside of Eves down there. The Siegel team will be happy with that because you know he's going to pull a bit of a gap there. Both those drivers sacrificing some of the exit speed. And I'll tell you, here's my mindset, I think, for Louis Foster, and Bianca, you can back me up on this. I think what is going down is because there's 14 laps left. I'm third. If I'm going to go get Nolan, if I'm going to go for the win, I got to get by Eves pretty soon. I can't let him keep pulling away. I got to make it happen soon because he knows he's been the fastest driver on the racetrack,
fast,
right?
You know,
So
he's been fast since quality, practice.
That's it. But he's got to get by now.
Yeah.
If you wait too long, Siegel's gap is going to be too much, and even if he gets by, he's not going to be able to reel him in over the final laps, right?
Yeah, since like it's always the laps are closing down, and the gap is getting bigger between Nolan and Louis Foster, so he definitely has to push a lot harder.
Yeah, time of the essence for the Englishman Louis Foster, the Copart exclusive Autosport number 90 machine. Again, third spot, still strong in terms of points, but he's battling against the guys he's fighting in the championship battle with right now. Siegel, Eves, and Foster all in the top 3 as they come in. Foster the point leader, Siegel in second, Eves in third, separated by just 10 points. So Foster, if he finishes third, will lose ground to both Siegel and Eves. In fact, Siegel, I think, may take the point lead over if indeed he's able to get the win here. Fast lap of the race, of course, a bonus point as well. Most laps led already done for Nolan Siegel, so at the very least, he's got the points there. Siegel, Eves, Foster. Ahmed, 4th. Gold, 5th. Foster's going to redo it again. Mount it back up. Get back. Cool those tires off. Get a little bit of air on that front wing to get that grip you need. When he's too close to Eves, he starts scrubbing those tires a little bit, little more punishing on the front Coopers. So cool the tires back a bit, reset. They'll work their way back down. Yeah, Foster's got what it takes. He rolls right up in him again. He's going to throw it down the bottom of turn number 5. Foster side by side. Does he get the exit speed? No. Might have needed to wait one more lap. He threw it down there again.
Too soon.
Look at Bianca throwing Foster under the bus. I love it. Too soon, she says. I agree. I think one more lap and he might have been close enough to make the pass, but again,
the thing is with making passes you're not very sure of, you know, you lose a bit of tense to the guy ahead, and you need to build it up to it. And then if you keep making the same mistake, it's really no point.
Let me throw the other side of the coin there, or you throw it down in there, and if you're lucky, you've caught the guy off guard, and maybe he locks up the tire a bit, and you can get the job done. That's one of the things you said. You either make it decisively, or hopefully you catch him off guard. We've seen a lot of guys will lock up the right front there and carry it into the corner, and then you're able to roll. Otherwise, both these drivers scrapping it out. They are both faster than Siegel. I'm going to throw this straight out right now. They would be able to catch up to Siegel. And I'll say this right now. Number 1, Anam Ahmed closing from 4th. But I think if Louis Foster gets by Braden Eves, he may have something for Siegel. The only thing is, Bianca, you know this from karting days, you don't want to use your stuff up too early, right?
Yeah,
those tires are there, man. He's pushing so hard right now. He could get by and be out of tires in time to go get Siegel.
Unfortunately, he's made the same move about 3 times now, so Braden Eves just knows what he's about to do, and now Ahmed's coasting up to them.
Yeah. Well, the only thing is, everybody knows the move's coming to turn number 5. That's the place you make the move for sure. The only thing, if Eves were to block to the inside, Foster could then run the big racing line and potentially get a better drive out of the corner. Both these drivers, veteran racers, of course, as I said, Eves USF 2000 champion. Just have a look at the resume for Louis Foster and everything he's done overseas. This is a young driver with a ton of talent. And again, a huge get for the series over here to get Louis on the grid. Always an international field here. We're excited about that. A lot of young Americans and Canadians normally, but we've got Anam Ahmed, of course, flying the Pakistani flag, but lived in England. Louis Foster from England, as we said. Kiko Porto from Brazil. ALBA from Mexico. Jonathan Browne from Ireland. We've had an opportunity to have a lot of different drivers here from different countries part of this program, and up and down the entire road to Indy. Always an international field. Hey, Why wouldn't you want to come here, win a scholarship, go to the next level, potentially follow in the footsteps of so many great drivers into the NTT IndyCar Series? Heck, it got you from Manila, from the Philippines, brought you over here.
15-hour flight. I'm here.
15-hour flight to get Bianca Bustamante on the shores here with us. And we'll have her here all summer. She's going to be a great addition to the USF Juniors program. Of course, as we said, running in the W Series as well. Seagulls lead 1.6 seconds now. Eves 0.2 quicker last time by. Bianca, they just keep getting closer and closer. Watch that fight there coming under the bridge. Anam Ahmed loves what he's seeing in front of him. He wants them to keep fighting. 1.1 seconds back for Anam. You know what? Exactly the same lap times. Look at this: 19.5, 19.5, 19.5. So Eves, Foster, and Ahmed all 0.2 quicker than Nolan Siegel. 10 laps remaining. We've had a couple of lunges over in turn number 5 for Louis Foster. He's back to where he was before, and that's maybe 2 to 3 car lengths back, coming out of 14.15. Let's see what he does coming back to the front straightaway again. This is where he's been. Does he give himself a couple of laps right now? He's maybe 4 lengths back coming into turn 1. Foster throwing it down the bottom of 1. He is in control of this race car now. Just needs to finish it off. Eves has done everything he could to hold off Foster. We're going to see another big run down the back straightaway here, or rather the straightaway from turn 4 to turn 5. This time not quite close enough. You can see Foster. That's how close he is. Now, again, you get too close, you get the aero wash. You lose the front wing. But he has got himself back to the place where he may be able to make a dive move. Foster still with fast lap of the race. That's a bonus point as well. Most laps led already for Nolan Siegel, so throw that bonus point up for him. Bonus point for the pole. Possibility of 32 points for Nolan Siegel, 30 points for the win. From here, the entire road to Indy, rolling over to the road course at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, midway through the month of May for the Grand Prix event. And of course, that will lead into all the IndyCar drivers in the garages, dialing the cars into one of the 106th Indianapolis 500. One of these drivers or more will be part of that in the next couple of years, no doubt about it. Foster keeps going quicker and quicker, indeed down to a 119.432. Foster continues to go faster and faster. As I said, he has got to get by. Right up there, as you see them come through turn number 2 right now. Let's make sure we pick them up coming down that straightaway to turn number 5. Out of turn number 3 and 4. Here they come. This is second and third right there. Is Foster close enough? Again, not quite there. Does he lunge down the inside? He does not. He is hoping for Eves to go in the block mode. They've closed up again on Nolan Siegel. He's not pulling away. 1.4 seconds. Bianca, we haven't seen a ton of racing here, but this is kind of when you go deeper into a race, right? You see the lap times. You understand what the drivers are trying to do. It's not so much about that back and forth, race-long, wheel-to-wheel action. It's the strategy of each driver to try to make sure they manage their tires, manage their gaps, and then set up for that pass. Like we've talked before, you can, if you're faster in turn 1, that's what's going to give you the pass in turn number 5, which is beautiful. Did you have a chance to set up some passes like that in the USF Juniors? I know you're new, right? You did it in karting, but you know, only your 3rd and 4th races in an open wheel car this past weekend. Did you feel comfortable with that kind of setup this weekend?
It definitely felt like karting, just bigger.
Yeah,
and
love it.
Yeah, I love the starts. You know, it felt like karting, to be honest.
Yeah.
You know, doing the rolling start and everything, and I made a few lunges in the turn 1, and it was successful.
Nice.
And a pass on turn 5. Almost tried it on the outside. Unfortunately, we're not there yet.
Okay.
I'll try again next year.
Self-awareness is key. Yeah, you're not quite there yet, but the outside passes will come, Bianca. I trust me, they'll be there. Siegel, Eves, Foster, Ahmed, Gold, your top 5. And again, Foster got down to a 119.4. This time, Eves goes 119.4. 1.2 seconds back. They are just chipping away at Nolan Siegel. But let me throw this out here. Nolan Siegel goes back-to-back 119.6s. The consistency at that pace, even though they're closing up a couple of tenths of a second, to me that feels like Nolan Siegel may have kind of a handle on this race, that the car is good enough that he can kind of control the pace. You know, as a leader, when you're leading the race, you don't need to win by 17 seconds.
You just need to win.
Half a second, still a win.
Winning is winning.
Right? So if you're 2 seconds out, or 1.2 in the case of Nolan Siegel, you got some breathing room. You don't need to throw the car away. Take care of the car, take care of the tires. He'll be fine for the final 5-lap run to the end, right? Here we are on turn number 17 once again. This is it. We'll see what the gap comes down to, 1.2 seconds. The gap, and again, the speed of Siegel. That's the key for me. Does he have consistent lap times? Is he more sporadic? Eves down to a 1:19.48. Guess what? Siegel, another 1:19.6. He's just banging off consistent 1:19.6s. The gap now 1.1 seconds. Both Eves and Foster closing up. Foster looking again down to the bottom. No, in turn number 5. Deep on the brakes though, a little different entry. You can see a more shallow entry to keep the air flowing over the front wings. With left and right of that Tatis. IP22. Brand new tubs for the 2022 season with the Halo device on these race cars, upping the level of safety for the drivers here on the road to Indy. We'll have a brand new USF Juniors car next year as well. Looking forward to that. The JR23, right?
Yes.
Yeah, Bianca's like, yeah, I can't wait to drive that car. It'll have a halo as well. The same tub that we use in USF 2000 and Indy Pro. A lot more different bolt-on parts, but the same tub through all 3 levels. Yeah, and a little detuned engine a bit as well. That thing will run forever. But it'll be a great training vehicle for Bianca and the other drivers who run USF Juniors next year. All right, 1.1 seconds for Siegel. We're going to put lap 25 in the books when they come across the line here. 5 laps remaining. They have held station for majority of the race. And how about Nolan Siegel turning his best lap, dialing it up when needed? 1:19.3, although again, Foster faster. But Siegel just, I think, dropped the hammer and said, boys, you got to fight amongst yourself. Here goes again to the bottom of the racetrack, trying to get the car turned in the corner. Look at this. Not quite enough as Foster again threw it down the bottom. We are close now to that break point where they're going to start thinking about running for second, right? They're racing for second right now. Bianca, do you think they're there right now? Do you think this one's Nolan Siegel's?
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, we're down to 5 laps, and by the time they pass here, it's down to 4. And if Louis Foster does make the pass, I don't think it's enough to, catch up to the leader. But yeah, we'll see.
We'll see. We will all see. 5 more laps to go. It'll be 4 when they come back around. That move by Foster, again, trying to the inside of Eves, is going to give Siegel a little more breathing room, but does he even need it? He just laid down a 1:19.3. I'm sure the guys at D-Force Racing, David and Ernesto Martinez, dropping on the radio saying, hey, listen, you got anything else in that? We'd like a couple of tenths of a second, please. And no one's like, got you.
Copy.
Yep, copy that. Boom. 1:19.3. Smoking lap for Nolan Siegel. Does he do it again here? We'll see as they come back around. 1:19.5 this time. Same with Eves. 1:19.6 for Foster. 4 laps to go. He's got 1.1 seconds. Foster would have to get by now and then get about 4 tenths of a second a lap if he wants any chance. He's not there right now. Again, not close enough. You can see there during turn number 5, the downhill braking zone. One of the things about the downhill braking zone that a lot of race fans don't understand is when you're coming into a downhill braking zone, the braking zone itself is a lot longer because you've got the gravity pulling you down. An uphill braking zone shortens it up because the uphill push will slow it. You got to brake a lot earlier than you think because you're going downhill, carrying speed down the hill.
Especially, going downhill, it's much easier to lock up those front tires. And whenever you go in too deep and you miss the braking, it's always hard to come back from it. And we've seen Louis Foster going a bit too deep, and unfortunately, he hasn't made a good pass.
No contact, though. I'm going to give it that to him because you can get some contact. And one of the things is once you do and once you do lock up a tire,
just go straight.
Lock up a tire one time, it keeps wanting to lock up, right? You flat spot it a little bit. It always wants to grab that flat spot. Anam Ahmed still digging in, trying to close up as well, but it's just not going to happen for him. He was digging there. There's Anam waiting for him to keep fighting, but they really haven't done too much fighting. Behind Anam Ahmed, there's Reese Gold, his teammate, yesterday's winner. Then you've got Josh Green, Kiko Porto, and Salvador de Alba. De Alba continues to put pressure on Kiko Porto. Was 2 tenths of a second quicker last time by. He is closed up. We may not be done with a fight yet for 7th between Porto and de Alba, but Siegel now has a 9 tenths of a second lead as they've cut it down finally to within a second. 3 laps to go. Eves, maybe with a little bit of breathing room here, can dig in. He was 2/10 quicker last time by. He's 9/10 back. He will need to be 3/10 faster a lap. Can Braden Eves go get Nolan Siegel here? Otherwise, Siegel looking for his 3rd career Road to Indy race win. It'll be his 2nd of the season, winning at St. Petersburg as well, as they work their way down here through 7 and 8. I'll tell you, Eves looks like he's coming on strong here right now as well. We'll watch them work their way out of the final couple of corners here. That's Charles Finelli. He'll pull to the top of the racetrack to get out of the way. Good job for Charles, as here is 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. They are on top of each other here. Does Eves get the 3/10 of a second he needs? Coming across the line, it was 9/10. Can he get it down to 6/10 of a second on this lap? No, 0.818. Still a manageable gap right now for Nolan Siegel over Eves. Another 19.6 for Siegel. He goes back to the old faithful 1:19.6. Those laps he's been banging out all race long. They're definitely closing up. Foster, it is 1.5 seconds from 1st back to 3rd. I'll tell you, masterful run here by Nolan Siegel. It has been a pleasure to watch this young driver. Came in at just 14 years of age, diminutive to say the least. He was a little guy when he came in with Newman Walks Racing, had a ton to learn, did 3 years in USF 2000, and then made the move up here to Indy Pro for his 4th year on the road to Indy, and a much different young man than we saw a number of years ago. Even last year, he's just grown so much and developed as a young man, doing a lot of sports car racing with his dad as well, which I think has been cool. They ran the Daytona 24. He's been in a number of big name races that has allowed him to kind of expand his repertoire, his skill set in terms of driving, and it's paying off right now this year. This will be the 2nd win for Nolan Siegel, and very likely may take the point lead heading to the Indianapolis Motor Speedway as well. White flag flying this time by. Eves doing everything he can, but Siegel flawless thus far. Is there a chink in the armor for the driver from Palo Alto, California? Coming across the line to put this lap in the books. A 1:19 surprise. 6 for Nolan Siegel. The 6th, 1:19.6.
Extremely consistent.
That guy's a
Not gonna
robot.
lie.
It's a robotic performance. What a run it's been for Siegel. 1:19.6 again. Counting on it. The gap, 0.7 seconds. Eves about a 10th quicker. Foster down to a 1:19.256. Fast lap of the race for Foster here on lap number 29. That's a bonus point. Nobody else can get it. He gets it. A 2-point swing, if you will, in terms of the championship. Big one for Foster, but still one more lap to come. 7/10 of a second to lead for Nolan Siegel. Coming down the back straightaway now. Siegel has to negotiate the quick left-right hairpins, or rather chicanes, the very quick chicanes on the back straightaway. Full commitment, full send, compression down here through this one. Back up over the hill, as Bianca had talked about. Rise over the hill, back down into the right-hander. You've got to be ready to turn in. Through 14, through 15. Down the hill from 16 and 17. Eves is closing, but it's too little too late. 2nd win of the season for the driver of the number 8, Nolan Siegel, winning an Indy Pro 2000. The D-Force crew out onto the fence for Siegel, his 2nd win of the season, and very likely taking the point lead in the process. Siegel winning by 7/10 of a second over Braden Eves. Louis Foster, the second last lap of the race, the fastest one. He ends up P3 on the podium once again. The top 3 drivers in the points finishing top 3 today. Cream rising to the top here at Barber Motorsports Park. Anam Ahmed and Reese Gold for Juncos Racing, both who've been quick throughout the weekend on the podium yesterday. They'll cap the top 5 here today, 4th and 5th for Ahmed and Gold. Josh Green 6th, Kiko Porto in 7th. Salvador de Alba ends up at 8th from starting 14th. 9th, Jonathan Brown. 10th, Jack William Miller. 11th, Untitled. Colin Kaminsky able to catch and pass Wyatt Prokachik for 12th. Jordan Missig ends up in 14th, and Charles Finelli rounding out the top 15. Bianca Bustamante, thank you so much for joining me. Of course, one of our rookies in the USF Juniors program, running with IGY6 Motorsports. What'd you think? Your first experience in the booth? You have fun?
It's an honor. I had lots of fun. You know, I love watching the race, and Even better commentating
right?
it.
It's active, right? It's active spectating. I always say this. There's your official results. Nolan Siegel, happy to see his name on the top of the charts. Braden Eves, former USF 2000 champion, multi-time Road to Indy winner in both USF 2000 and Indy Pro in second. Louis Foster in third. That'll be your podium that will head down here momentarily. Ahmed and Gold, as I said, fourth and fifth. Green, Porto, the ALBA, Brown, and Miller rounding out the top 10. There's SUNBARAMOORTHY in 11th. Kaminsky, Brakacic, Missig, and Finelli. Thank you to those of you around the racetrack, under the trees, up on the hills, enjoying yourself here while everyone else trying to file out through the heavy traffic. This was a perfect idea. Hang out a little bit, enjoy yourself, and we're going to see Nolan Siegel get himself out of this race car, and you'll see the exuberance you get from a race win here on the Road to Indy. So much pressure these young drivers put on themselves, but when you can get a win, this is big. There it is. Nolan Siegel, normally kind of a reserved young man, but man, the excitement there as he gets the race win. His crew will come over here and join him momentarily. Yeah, there they are, coming in to celebrate the action. There's Steve Knapp, the lead engine to the back there, the builder of all of our racing engines. Steve and his son Logan handling the power plants of all the races, drivers here in Indy Pro 2000 and USF 2000, our spec engine providers. But a big one there for Nolan Siegel as he gets the win. We'll head over to Victory Lane right now. Bianca, again, thank you so much for joining me. I certainly appreciate it. Folks, we're heading to Tatis Victory Lane to celebrate a win by Nolan Siegel. Those of you joining us live here again on the Road to Indy TV app. Driver coming home in third place today for Exclusive Autosport, Louis Foster. And to present his trophy from Doster Construction, Noel Dedman. Come on up, Noel. Hop right up there with him. Louis Foster doing a tremendous job. Another podium finish for him. He'll take that third place trophy. And again, great job today for Louis Foster. Put the pressure on throughout that race. Kept trying to lunge down in turn number 5. We got ourselves a long championship here with a lot of talented drivers. Noel, thank you very much. Driver who was able to hold him off and then eventually close up on the leader a little bit at the end. Ends up coming home second place today for J. Howard Driver Development. Have a round of applause for Braden Eves. Second spot for Braden. And to present the trophy for second place, Ella Shuden will bring it up here. Ella, thank you so much. You can join Braden up there on the podium and get a picture with him. I love it. Our guests from Encompass Healthcare. Thank you, Ella. Great stuff. Great job for Braden, man. That was a battle throughout the race as Louis was throwing everything at him. But the driver who was able to put down consistent 1:19.6s and then a 1:19.3 when he needed it. This is his second win of the season. I believe taking the point lead in the process, folks. What a run for D-Force Racing, my winner today, Nolan Siegel. Hop on down, you're too tall. Wow, you are tall now. When Nolan started, he was like this big, and it was so easy to talk to you. Now you're my height right now. Dude, congratulations. Obviously, you've been running more than just the cars, right? You've been running sports cars as well. It's obviously paid off. You get the win at St. Petersburg. How about the win here today? Out front and so consistent. How good was the race car?
The car was great today. Yeah, huge thanks to the D-Force Racing guys. They did a phenomenal job all weekend, and pull here is really important, and putting it together on the first lap is really important. So once I was able to keep that lead for the lap 1, I was able to stay there for the rest of the race, and it was great. The
consistency was there, and as a race car driver, that's what you want when you're leading, right? 1:19.6s, like I said. Was it easy to knock those out? Was that a mark you were trying to hit?
It wasn't necessarily a mark I was trying to hit. I was just focusing on not making any mistakes, and that's kind of what ended up happening. So, yeah, it was great to be able to be that consistent, and the car was really consistent throughout the race.
They got to within about 0.7 of a second, then you dropped to 19.3 and pulled it back out. Did you push harder that lap, or was it just maybe you hit one corner correctly?
Yeah, I did a lap where I pushed a little bit harder and was able to put a couple more tenths in, so it was great. Yeah.
We know how tough this field is, right? You know these guys, you've raced against them for a number of years. How important is it now to get where you are, a couple of weekends in, have that point lead going to Indianapolis?
Yeah, it's really important. The season really builds off of the first couple of races, and you build some momentum and keep it going from there. So, yeah, it's great to be ahead at this point in the season.
Who do you want to thank today?
My family, my mom, my dad, and the D-Force Racing guys.
Well done, man. Get up on top there. Empty podium. One more time, folks, a round of applause for Nolan Siegel getting the win today. Let's bring that trophy in here as well. Sophie Shuden will help us out here and bring that trophy into my race winner, Nolan Siegel. Hop up there, Sophie. Awesome. Nolan Siegel winning in USF 2000, couple of wins now here in the Indy Pro 2000 category. He talked about it. Momentum's always key. All three of these drivers have a lot of momentum right now. Louis Foster. This is actually your top three in the points right here as well coming in. Top three leaving Barber Motorsports Park here as well. Three different teams represented as well. D-Force Racing, J. Howard Driver Development, Exclusive Autosport, all part of it. We've got some photos of our guests who are joining us here this weekend. We'll bring them up here, I believe, as well. Ken, what do we got here? Our friends from Encompass Healthcare are going to come up and get a photo with our drivers here. Of course, champagne waiting in the wings for the drivers here. Final race of the weekend, so they'll be able to spray the champagne and hose themselves down. Again, got a number of guests part of the action here at Barber Motorsports Park and the Road to Indy program. Our Andersen Interior Contracting Grand Prix of Alabama. A lot of our good friends from Andersen Interior Contracting. Talk about Doster Construction, Hoare Construction, and Compass Healthcare, all enjoying themselves as part of the action here this weekend. Hold on, don't take off yet. We got champagne, boys. You know how to do this. You guys have all been here before. Where's Siegel? Siegel, get back out here. We got some champagne to spray. Where you going, boy? You know this. All right, boys, let her rip. Let's wrap things up here with the celebration of the champagne spray to cap off this weekend's event here at Barber Motorsports Park. Congratulations